Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. And I'm trying to not get too close to the top because I keep cutting off my head when I get up like that. So I try to overcompensate. I have a lot of stuff written down over here because ADHD brain, I'm not going to be able to remember it all or any. But even though I woke up early and didn't sleep well, I at least slept. That's a good thing. One thing, though, that this is really an old man kind of thing, but I bought this stuff here. I love this box. This is look at the way this flips up. This is something that would go in an RPG. You tell your players, the chest is calling to you. It is beautiful. I was even debating, is there a way that I could cut this up to fix it so it would open and shut like that? But I'm quite sure I would wreck it, so I don't want to ruin the box. Oh well. I just thought that was a cool box, and I wanted to share my old man thing there. Now, I do have things up here written like, this is just a thought that I've had when I've been out walkies. I hate crime. I hate violence. I hate that people get victimized by things. I don't like anything like that. The world needs to be a better and safer place. But at the same time, oddly, I've had stuff stolen. I have had my car broken into and stuff stolen from the inside of it. I've never suffered major crime. I've never been a face-to-face victim where I had to hand stuff over or I was going to get badly hurt. But at the same time, I kind of want there to be a thriving underground crime. I think it's a weird contradictory feeling. I don't like it, but I also not common street thuggery. That's not what I'm speaking of. Just somebody coming up to rob you with a knife or a gun or whatever while you're taking a walk on the street. No, that's not what I speak of. It's the organized underworld. For some strange reason, I kind of want that to always be there. Huh. And then I was watching a video where this comedian was talking about anxiety and how the worst parts of anxiety are like people that don't suffer from anxiety because they don't understand it. And it's like, yeah, I've talked with my therapist about it. And it's like a low-key, constant trickle of adrenaline with your mind telling you, oh, sure, everything looks okay now, but when it happens, it's going to come hard and you're not going to realize that it's coming right at you and it's going to hit and it's going to hurt, but it's not here yet, but it's on its way. There's no real way to not feel anxious from that. You know you're doomed. You know something horrible is going to happen. It doesn't matter that that's irrational. Your body is still telling you. I have weird anxiety triggers, like when I go into places like Walmart, I have to keep my eyes down. Because bright lights in an enclosed place like that, oh my God, if when I accidentally look up and I see the lights, the whole thing just seems to expand and grow and get brighter and spotlight. And it's like, no, whoa. Hokey smokes. And I gotta keep my eyes down or I wouldn't even be able to go in there. Anxiety is fun. But I mentioned before, just the other day, in fact, probably yesterday, with my ADHD, yesterday feels like 4 days away. Because by the time I get to the afternoon, the morning feels like yesterday. So when I get to the next morning, it's really wild. It feels like yesterday was days ago. But I talked about how I had gotten a Starburst Gummies candy, Fuego, with chili powder on it. These are disappointing in 3 ways to me. They're not sweet. After it's all done, normally with a standard sour gummy thing, you've got the bit of sour at first, and then at least half of the candy is just concentrated sweetness afterward. The Fuego types don't seem to do that. It's a much duller sweet taste. And the hot isn't, again, not really hot. Just kind of a dull heat. And they're not sour. So for me, that's disappointing in 3 ways. I just did not like them all that much. So yesterday I bought another pack of them. And I ate them all. And again, they are disappointing. But I think I'm going to buy more. I don't know why such a disappointing treat keeps calling to me, but it is. We're fun up here. And then, this is going to be a fair amount of talk about not just Pete and Baz of Pete and Baz, the UK rap duo that are like nearing 80. One of the things that I found out, there was a song called Longthorn Shotgun. And when they're singing it, they are alternately being outside and then going back inside this rather nice looking estate while Peter is writing in a notebook. He's writing the song. And they're performing this, but at the same time, Pete was fighting cancer. And there was the very real possibility that this would be the last video and song that he could ever do. But even though they're both nearing 80, Pete beat cancer. And again, they're going to be October 22nd in Seattle here. God, I wish I could make it there. I wish I had the money to make it there. I wish I had transport. That'd be awesome. But it was just amazing that he survived all this and is doing all that. It really, if your body can handle it, really, age is not a huge impediment to enjoying yourself. Yeah, you're going to kick off. And for all that they're on tour, each one of the artists that are there with them, everybody has to be fully aware that one day there's the possibility that one of them doesn't answer their door because they ain't alive anymore. But while that is true of them, it's also true of absolutely everybody. But after that, talking about that part of it, this is just an offhand thing. I have heard names that have been from, non-standard American traditional, but I still think of them as standard American traditional because I heard them when I was younger. One name I will never be able to disassociate from British origins. I, at the moment, cannot think of a more British name than Basil. It's a good name. It's a hell of a name. But I can hardly think of anything more British than that. So thumbs up. And Pete and Baz also have a song called Bish Bash Bosh. And it has some of the coldest, hardest lyrics I have heard pretty much ever. But it's Basil comes up in his part of the song while they're doing all this regular, ride with my fellas and all that sort of stuff. Then the lyrics are, and I'm going to sing them slowly and not well, but it's chuck him in a Ziploc, chuck him in a van. Now he'll be forever young, fucking Peter Pan. I was like, oh, aye, because you don't get older once you're dead. And then with, put him on a t-shirt, put him on the gram. Tell him that you love him while he's lying in the ground. Like, oh God, these are some of the hardest, coldest lyrics I've heard. And just about every reactor out there that comes across those goes, oh! Because, those are hard. And then, while I have a lot written up here, there is, I'm also got like stuff accumulating in the corners of my mouth. How fun, because I'm a human being. I have made a post about this, but because of Pete and Baz, I have gotten drifting back into the UK drill and UK grime and re-listening to things. I didn't write down the name of the artist that was doing drill stuff, but it was really good. But then, for the grime scene, one of the artists is named Chip. And I've listened to 2 songs from Chip. One of them, though, was just primarily, that was hard to say, by himself. And then the other was just, I don't know the artists. But apparently they are legends on the grime scene. And they were all in this song and video doing their own bits, and it was really good. But then Chip does this one song called Sexy Grime. Now, I've mentioned before with the artist Yeet, whom I need to go back and start listening to again. But their songs are very asymmetrical feeling. A lot of songs, they feel round, they roll well. But a lot of Yeet songs are asymmetrical in that they go don't chickadee don't chunk, don't chickadee don't chunk, don't chickadee don't chunk. They roll, but they don't roll in that chick-cha, chick-cha, chick-cha sort of thing. It's very asymmetrical in that fashion. I really like that. Mostly because I think I as a lot of neurodivergent people are, they crave things like symmetry, and yet I like music like that because of its asymmetry. And the song Sexy Grime by Chip is very asymmetrical in that fashion. Oh my gosh. It is good stuff. You should check it out if you like non-standard things. It's very good. But then I'm not having a lot to talk about because I haven't been sleeping well and I've been having bad med interventions. I'm kind of exhausted of late, but I wanted to talk about, because of time travel and a post I made that had a time travel thing and somebody mentioned time travel in a comment to it, I'm more of the multiverse time travel person. In that there's not like, oh, we're on a single timeline and any alterations changes the timelines, or you have loops that you go off of it and you try to re-divert back onto the... No. I am like, if you travel in time, you're actually jumping to another universe of that time. You never make it back to the universe you leave. You always enter a universe that's, because you made this change, now you're there. Now, the writer, David Gerrold, who wrote the episode The Trouble with Tribbles for the original Star Trek series way back in the 60s, who's actually still alive, is in his 80s, he posts on Facebook, but he wrote a book called The Man Who Folded Himself. And I, a young teen, having watched Trouble with Tribbles and going to panels at conventions where David Gerrold was, I bought the book, expecting it to be kind of like Trouble with Tribbles, and it was nothing like that. The book, The Man Who Folded Himself, is a time travel story, and it's along the lines of when you jump to a different time, different universe. Now, they all are connected in that if you don't like something, you would travel in time to this place and change time. And then when you went back, if you didn't like the change, because you could remember, of course, you just jumped to another universe now. This part didn't come up until the very end, though. But you'd have to jump back to the time and then convince yourself not to do that. And then you could leave and go back, and if you successfully talked yourself out of it, the change was undone. Eventually, the main character who had this time belt, who got it from his uncle along with a book, and the book was a diary, and the book was the book that you're reading now. But he puts on the time belt and eventually ends up in a far distant house where there's, somebody defines it as self-cessed, because he knows what he enjoys. And if he travels in time to be a second person, they know what they enjoy. So they get frisky together. And in this household out of time, there is a constant flow of him. The building is always full of iterations of him. To the point that it gets to, he starts seeing versions of him that he didn't do. Like a female version of him shows up. And then leaves and, is gone. But seeing iterations of himself that he didn't do, so how could they be? But if it's a multiverse, yeah. And eventually, one of him shows up. And the shock of arrival, because when you arrive, it is like being dunked in cold water, because all that air has to, all that air has to be pushed out of the way of where you arrive. But this guy arrives, and the shock of it kills him. So he gets to see how one of them ends. But the book eventually ends with, I'm going to be putting this into a thing, and I'm going to send it to myself. And he does. And that's how the story ends. The person who was reading all this and looking at the time belt in the box puts on the time belt. They are in a constant loop. But it's also completely multiversal in that you're not jumping through time, you're jumping to another universe. So, yeah, time travel is fun. That's the way I see it. But that's just me. Of course, I'm with the whole multiverse thing that I talk about and the way I've got my multiverse set up for my fiction and gaming. I largely base that not on the math, because I'm not a mathematician. I don't understand math. I especially don't understand higher math, but there are people who do understand the math that do these calculations that say, oh yeah, there's a universe out there where I'm this or I'm that or I'm... because there's as many universes as there could possibly be. Now, does every one of the mathematicians out there working on this stuff believe that? No. It's just a subset. There are those that are many worlds, where the universe is actually energy at this higher level, and then there will be points where the energy dips to a lower level. We're in one of those. Because it dipped down, everything started coalescing, and the universe that we have is expanding outward at the speed of light, getting bigger and bigger and bigger in this area. But because of the expansion of space, it's expanding into an expanding area. So you could have another one over here expanding infinitely right next to it, but though they're both expanding infinitely, the space between them is also expanding infinitely, so they never get close to each other. But you could have another one just go bloop over here, and it becomes another universe, expanding outward at the speed of light and coalescing into an entire complete universe just as we are. There are a lot of different models for this. Nobody knows, if we ever can know, which one is right. But I opt for the one where it fits in best with my ideas for my fiction. Yay. Oh, and 22 minutes into this. Hey, if you could like, comment, share, and subscribe, that would be awesome. Definitely a thumbs up. And each one of my Patreon patrons, you are beautiful and awesome people. Thumbs up, thank you. Even though, again, I am trying to lose weight, I still do need to eat. And you help me do that. Oh, it's getting tight right now. I can hardly wait for the 3rd of this month. But thank you so very, very much. If you've left me a comment, you too are beautiful and awesome in your own way. Thumbs up and thank you. I read every comment that YouTube shows me. I thumbs up every heart comment that I can, and if not, and if the comment is particularly witty or heartfelt and I remember, I give it a heart. And I answer as many comments as I can, but with my nerve compression and all this, it is very difficult, and I don't answer nearly as many as I would like to. Plus, I play an internet game of asking, well, putting out a writer. Good God. I do an internet game where I give a writing prompt or give a secret word, or if I forget entirely, ask you to provide your own. And I do this for blatant engagement farming so that the YouTube algorithm does not think my channel is entirely dead. And also, it is nice to be heard. Thumbs up and thank you. The people who did play were Jesse Koskinen, and YouTube is so much fun. I've had comments vanish after leaving them. I know other people have done that. It's... who knows why comments just vanish. It's wonderful. But thumbs up and thank you. Then we have, I would pronounce it Dillard, DILL3RD. But thank you. Thumbs up. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. There is Chris and all his incarnations and flavors. Thumbs up and thank you. We have Toilet Decimator, back from their sacred mission of decimating toilets. Greatly appreciated. Thumbs up. Jazz Ruler? Jas Ruler? I'm not quite sure. It could be pronounced many, many, many different ways, but that's the way it looks to me. Where's my tissue? wipe my fingers off again. And then Arana975. Thumbs up. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. And thank you, each and every one of you. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Now, good golly, Miss Molly, if you have watched this far, if you could, writing prompt-wise, tell me what you feel. I can speak English, I promise you. What you think you would find inside this iron chest, or if you could just type iron chest into the comments, that would be very, very cool. Greatly appreciated. Do you have to do this? Of course not. I wouldn't require it even if I had the power to force you. Consent is important. But if you choose to do so, that would be very, very cool and greatly appreciated. And if you aren't even watching to hear me say all this, then... But yes, thank you very, very much, no matter what. So yeah, I am going to edit, render, upload. I am going to try and take care of myself the best I can. It's almost 1 o'clock. I didn't get enough sleep as stated. I don't feel... there is this feeling of disreality because I'm so tired, and trying to live within that feeling and function within that feeling is joyous. Doesn't happen often, but enough. Anyway, though, hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done. That would be very cool. And if not, please do not beat yourself up because... do not beat yourself up because you deserve better. And I deserve better. I shouldn't be beating myself up because I can't make my jaw and tongue and such work properly. Good golly, Miss Molly, I'm demanding a lot of it right now. Thumbs up for that. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And that is indeed a very, very good thing. And I still plan on continuing Dying Light and a couple of the other things that I'm doing. I'm just... The whole liminal stuff popped back up, and I really like the other stuff, and I like to show stuff off that I'm doing that's fun, that I want to share with people because it's neat. Anyway, though, now that I'm almost a half hour into this, you take care.